The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Mercer Island, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32678. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Let's start at the front bumper face. On the passenger side, you're going to find your PA speaker siren. Moving just inward of that location on the frame rail, you'll find dual air horns. Moving to the center, on the top of the bumper, you'll find a tubbed hose tray storage location. Moving to the outer edge, driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the face of the body, you'll find your low and high beam headlights. The low beam is on the outside, high beam is on the inside. Moving to the outer edge, you'll find a turn marker indicator light. Just inward of that location on the upper section, you'll find your fire bell. And inward of that location, directly above the headlight structure, you'll find a turn indicator and a forward-facing emergency warning light. Moving up onto the one-piece seamless windshield, you'll find 3 windshield wipers. Moving to the outer edge, you'll find your mirrors, convex and flat. Close up here of the headlight structure, turn and emergency light. Let's take a look now at the side of the vehicle. This is the driver's side, emergency light on the bumper extension, and also your mechanical siren. Inside that tubbed storage location for hose, you'll find your front bumper load. This is an 1.5-inch swivel discharge. Your vehicle is equipped with door locks that are keyed. You also have grab handles. Just behind the driver's seat and also the passenger seat, you'll find an exterior access, and directly above that, you'll find a side-facing scene light. As we move down to the very bottom right side of this image, you'll find a side-facing emergency warning light. Back into the compartment now, just behind the driver and passenger seat, in the upper section here, you're going to find some outlets, 12-volt barrel style and also USB style. Just beneath that, a shoreline outlet, 20 amp. As we move down from this location onto the very back section of the body, you're going to find your shoreline inlet. This is an auto eject 20 amp plug. Just beneath that, you'll find an auto eject air plug. Just underneath this, you're going to find your foam pump air intake drain and also the foam pump discharge drain. These are lift style drains. Let's start in the upper section here of your pump panel. Let's first start with your placard regarding the Pierce job number and also your placard regarding the test pressures for 150, 200, and 250. We'll get back to that in a minute. Let's move to the left, or I should say to the right, where you'll find a warning label regarding a fall injury. And then you'll also find instructions and also specifications for your Husky 12 foam system. We'll talk a little bit about the foam tank in a few moments. Let's first move to the gray area for engine information, and then to the right, your master intake and master discharge. Just beneath that, you'll find the test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. Let's go back over to the engine information. I've got a close-up of this where we'll go over some of the items within this area. If illuminated, the check transmission light would be yellow in color or amber. Moving down in the left side of this image to your oil pressure, that would be red if illuminated. Just down from that, you'll find the stop engine, which would also be a red indicator if illuminated. And then just beneath that, you can see the battery symbol. That would also be red if illuminated. Let's jump to the other side now, where you'll find your water temperature. That's also a red indication. And then just beneath that, you'll find, if illuminated, the check engine in amber. And then also in amber, a low fuel indication. Moving back up to the gauges here, on the outer edge, you'll find an oil pressure gauge. Moving to the right, you'll find an actual water temperature gauge. The indication will also illuminate if you have increased water temperature. Moving down to the lower left corner in the image, you'll find your volts. And then all the way to the right, this is going to be the fuel for the engine.
And directly in the center, you'll find your tachometer. Let's move back up to that placard here. This is your Pierce minimum operation maintenance schedule. Indicates your job number in the upper left-hand corner, test pressures for 150, 200, and 250 psi. The GPM which is associated with that test pressure is on the left, and your RPMs are on the right, with a governed speed of 2,100 RPMs. Let's now move to the Pierce throttle pressure governor. That is the module indicating here where you'll find the idle in red. Just beneath that, you'll find the ability to scroll through the menu of this function and also the silence button. As we move back up to the orange, this is going to be if you choose to set some presets. And then just beneath that, you'll find the green, which will select the mode, which is either PSI or RPM, so pressure or throttle. To the right, you'll find the increase and decrease in yellow. And down at the very bottom, you'll find some indicators here regarding engine diagnostics. As we move down, you'll find this warning label regarding do not open throttle unless this light is on, green indicating a good sign. And also you have the audible alarm. The outer edge of the bezel of this alarm does have the ability to dampen or increase the sound level. Let's now move to the top of the set of switches here. At the very top, there's a future switch location. Underneath that, your panel lights. Then also an indicator that your pump is engaged properly. That's going to be a green indicator, so you should have those two green indicators illuminating. Beneath that, you're going to find some lights here. Driver side floodlight, passenger side floodlight, and also rear scene lights. Once those switches have been activated, the green light will illuminate. We're to the foam system, which is in red. This is a Husky 12 system. You have a power on button on the left-hand side. That's an indicator, not an on switch. And to the right, foam indicating that you're flowing foam. The red switch is the power button. Moving to the right, you'll find the foam prime in yellow. Moving down, this is the ability to scroll through the various menus of your Husky foam system. That's the page. And then when you find the page you're interested in, you can select the enter, which is the blue button. You also have the ability to increase or decrease, up or down on the green indications here, also by pages. To the right, you'll find the foam system level indicator from full, 3/4, half, quarter to refill. As we move through now, I'd like to point out a couple warning labels. First, entanglement hazard. Because of those hoses coming up above, you do have the possibility for an entanglement. You also have a warning label here. Once again, we've seen this. Do not open the throttle unless this is illuminating, that green indicator. There's also a caution level here that you should have at least 1,000 RPMs before priming. Down next, you'll find the minimum operation maintenance schedule. That's part of the placard for the Pierce maintenance schedule for your pump testing. And down at the lower section in red, you'll find your pump information. You're also going to find all of your discharges, which are color-coded and also labeled. And in the next section down, you'll find once again all of your discharges color-coded and labeled. In the upper corner, in the red switch, is going to be your air horn. And beneath that is a blank, a spare. You can add something at a later date if necessary. Let's move down now. There are 3 electric valves here. You have your driver main inlet, rear inlet, and also passenger main inlet. Indications on those also for the amount of the gauge opening. Tank refill, recirculating line, and also tank to pump just beneath that. As we move to the left, you'll find your water level indicator once again. And to the right, you'll find your engine cooler. This is a twist, not a pull. And then just beneath that, you'll find the primer. We'll move down to the next section on your pump panel. Let's first start here with the RPM counter. There's a cover currently on this. This is for when you're doing your pump testing. Just beneath that, you'll find your air supply. That is a twist, not a pull. And beneath that, you'll find an air outlet. And then further to the right, hard to see though, this is the Watrous placard describing the type of pump that you have. Just beneath that, you're going to find your pump drain. Important information here regarding a warning label that only trained personnel after the use of the owner's manual should operate this piece of equipment. This is the placard for your Watrous pump. It indicates a 2.46 ratio. It does have a 1,500 gallon GPM. You can also indicate the pump model, which is a CSU, and also your transmission model, which is a C20D. Let's look down in the lower left-hand corner of your pump panel. We will find your auxiliary foam functions. This is the inlet, strainer, and also the drain. And to the right, this is the rear inlet, and that's a drain. To the right, you're going to find the driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch female inlet. As you can see here labeled, they're all individual drains, and to the very far right, you're going to find your manual pump shift. There's also a caution with some instructions just above that. Let's look now to a few of the pan doors. Behind this pan door is where you're going to find the foam lever. This is how you will refill your foam. It's the yellow handle at the very top, and you can see the position instructions on the left-hand side of the door. As we move to the very bottom, you'll find dry deck material and also some Velcro straps for your hose. Across the very bottom, just under the tail or under the sideboard, is where you're going to find some associated drains here, color-coded and labeled. Back up to the cross lays. As we move down from this cross lay, you'll also find a 1.5" discharge, discharge number 1 for your cross lay. It's foam and water capable. As we move to the very back of the cab, you'll find these pole lights, which are adjustable up and down. As we move to the dunnage area of your apparatus, you're going to find first your large diameter master stream device at the very top, and also the hydraulic oil for your Husky foam system with a sight gauge just in the front and a refill on top. The digital gauge here is going to be for your deluge system. This is an open and close valve. This is going to be your foam hydraulic reservoir. Just at the very top, you'll see a sight gauge and then the fill location. This is also equipped with an extend-a-gun, so it can raise the top of that deluge. As we look to the cab, you can see these cutouts indicating that this is not a walking surface, and be cautious if you choose to. You'll also find some top access here. This is once again the dunnage area where you're going to find your top fill for water, and then also the foam tank fill. And I would like to point out on the right-hand side this warning label here regarding foam failure and not to mix different types of foams, consistencies, or brands. I'd also like to point out for firefighter safety, you can see these yellow triangle or diamonds on the right and left-hand side. That's for night visualization, for firefighters knowing where the edge is. You also have multiple hatch compartments up here at the top. I believe there are 4, 2 on each side, passenger and driver's side. They have dry deck material and also LED lighting inside those compartments, it appears. Let's move now to the very first compartment from the pump area. You'll find a pull-out shelf. That's the release mechanism. At the top of this compartment, you're going to find the Shoreline outlet. It is a 20 amp outlet. When plugged into shore power, it will activate your auto charging system. There are also some LED lights on here indicating power and charging. In front of and in rear of the rear tires, you're going to find 2 bottle storage locations on the passenger side and 3 on the driver's side. You'll also find your ultra low sulfur diesel. That's the silver cap. When you flip that latch down, you'll find the blue DEF 4.5 gallon tank. Let's move now to the compartment over the rear wheels, dry deck material, LED lighting, the ability for adjustable shelves, and also pegboard. Moving to the very rear compartment, you'll find, once again, LED lighting, adjustable shelving. You'll also find Shoreline outlet for a 20 amp plug. Once again, when plugged into shore power, this will be activated. Let's move to the rear of the apparatus, clean up a little bit of things here on safety. Upper left is a warning regarding pressurized hazard. Those caps may be under pressure when removing them. Also, not to ride on the apparatus. There is a fall injury associated with that. And the very last one here is going to be an entanglement warning regarding those hoses coming off aloft. There is the possibility for firefighters to get entangled in those hoses. Upper left-hand corner in this image, we're going to find 2 2.5-inch discharges. The difference is one is foam capable. To the right side, you're going to find your large diameter pump inlet. This is the rear inlet with a Storz coupling. There are also 3 full down steps here to gain access aloft. As we move to the very top in the upper left-hand corner, you have additional storage. Just beneath that, you have your backup or reverse camera. And the 2 long red straps here are the ability to quick release that netting to gain access to your hose load in the rear. Let's move over to the right and left side of the rear. You have an emergency light, a brake light, turn indicator, and also reverse light. And once again, just pointing out that rear inlet. Up from that location, you're going to find your ground ladder storage locations, and we'll go over those in just a moment. Would like to point out, this is that number 1 rear discharge, water and foam, and the number 2 is only water capable. You do have a couple cup switches here. This is your deck lights. As we move to the center section, you're going to find two pull-out shelves here, upper and lower. The release mechanisms are where the arrow is indicated. Very clever. This has grab handles here in the very center compartment, or just above the center compartment. In the ladders, you'll find a 24-foot and a 14-foot ground ladder. Above that, a 10-foot attic, and then also a 10-foot rubbish or trash hook, whatever your department calls those. Let's now move around to the side of the vehicle. First, in the very rear compartment, you'll find adjustable shelving, dry deck material. At the very top, you're going to find that shoreline outlet. And then at the very bottom, you'll also find a 12-volt outlet access point. That's the chrome section. Once again, on this side, we do have bottle storage in front of and rear of the rear axle. There are two here and then two in the front. Just beneath that, you'll find the side-mounted marker light. As we move upward above the rear tire, you'll find pegboard and the ability for adjustable shelving, LED lighting. As we move to the forward compartment, once again, adjustable shelving and dry deck material. Let's move now to the pump midsection. You're going to find this warning label on the side regarding pressurized caps and associated hazards if removing one of those pressurized caps. The side of the vehicle is equipped with two 2.5-inch discharges with elbows. As we move further down, you'll find the green large diameter pump discharge storage connection, and then you'll find your large diameter pump intake. This is an electronic valve, and you can see there is an override in the upper left. Remembrance here of 9/11/2001. And at the very bottom, you're going to find a rear inlet. This is a drain valve for that rear inlet. Just a quick note on exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures. Be cautious where you park. As we move to the side of the vehicle, you'll find the running board is cut out for hose storage with also some Velcro straps. Just above that, you'll find all of your bleeders, color-coded and also labeled, in addition with air supply. I would like to point out this danger regarding your cab lift and also caution. There are instructions to raise and also to lower. Be cautious and check overhead areas and front bumper components before raising the cab. Let's move now just forward of this position where you're going to find the driver's side scene lights and also the passenger side scene lights. Once again, if activated, those will be green. Inside the compartment door behind the panel, you'll find your water strainer. And then just above that, you're going to find a number 2 crosslay, water foam capable. And then above that, you'll find all your additional crosslays. At the very top, you do have an additional compartment. You can see the D handle here and the step light. As we move inside the cab, we're going to find some warning labels here regarding the use of seat belts and airbags. In the center, you're going to find push on and off red and white lights, and also the ability to hang your FireCom headsets. That's the yellow hangers. Located directly in the center, this is going to be rear facing. You'll find a roll-up compartment door with LED lighting and adjustable shelving. Just beneath that, you'll find your access points for your daily checks for engine oil and transmission checks. You'll also find on the driver's side a shoreline outlet, 20 amp. Moving just inside, you're going to find these two battery access points, positive and negative. These are, and behind these are going to be your studs for accessing additional equipment if necessary. Behind the driver's seat, you're going to find a volume control for the speaker for the backup camera. At all points of entry for personnel, we're going to find these warning labels regarding all of the information regarding your apparatus for safety. Down at the lower section, you're going to find a door open indicator light. You'll also find a lock mechanism directly in the center of the latch and a pull just above that. You also have the red easy strap for getting in and out of the cab. At the very top inside the cab, you'll find your bell rope, and also below that, you'll find windshield wiper fluid location for filling. As we move to the center, you're going to find 12-volt USB style. This is a protective cap. And then we'll find electronic siren, air horn, and a mechanical siren push buttons. Let's move overhead inside the cab. Just a quick look here. We'll identify these items in just a moment. Let's first start on the right-hand side. This is over the officer seat. This is your Go Light control. This is a spotlight mounted on top of the vehicle. To the left, you'll find your FireCom module. Moving further to the left or toward the center, you'll find a set of switch panels which are programmable. This one happens to be your Opticom switch. Moving directly in the center, hanging, you're going to find your Whelen traffic advisor. In the front of that, you're going to find a puck-style red light This is a do not move your apparatus. You might have a compartment door or door open. And directly overhead, you'll find the vents for your air conditioning unit. Let's now move to the driver's area. This is the driver's door, point of entry. So we're going to have a set of these warning labels for your safety. At the base of this, you're going to find your auto charge when plugged into shore power. This will activate to charge your battery system. You'll also find an engine heater switch with a green light indicating that it's on, and a cover here on the right-hand side for your switch. This placard is located about the right ankle of the operator. This is going to be the manufactured by Pierce for Mercer Island Fire Department. Has your job number, VIN number, gross vehicle weight ratings, cold tire inflation. It also has helpful information for your fluid capacities for the components, fluid capacity types, and also the amounts. As we move to the left knee of the operator, you'll find your master battery switch in silver. To the right, a tech module, and then also a ABS diagnostic transmission engine port. Beneath that, you'll find your ABS diagnostic, DPF regen, engine diagnostic, and engine inhibit. To the right of that, we're going to find your pump shift. This is going to be 2 green indications that your pump is properly engaged. Follow the instructions to go from road to pump, or vice versa from pump to road. Once you exit the cab for pumping operations, you'll need 2 green indicators. On the right, you'll find your mirror controls. As we look to the dash for the operator, you're going to find the start and ignition switch on the far left-hand side. This is the hinge side of the door. As you look to the center column area, you're going to find an EM switch, emergency master, turns on all of your emergency lights. To the right, headlight, parking lights, and also a panel switch, which allow you to brighten or dim the lights on the panel. On the right-hand side of the column, you're going to find your high idle switch to engage the high idle. On the steering wheel, you'll find steering controls for emergency lights, horns, and also emergency light and windshield wipers. Located directly in the center, you'll find an SRS logo indicating that your vehicle is equipped with an airbag. Located in the center dash, you're going to find on the left your DEF transmission, water, and oil temp. Located in the center, you'll find your speedometer and tachometer. On the right, you'll find volts, fuel, front and rear air. And then you also have diagnostic information above and below the speedometer. As we move to the center, you'll find your Pierce command zone. You'll also find on the right-hand side here your push to apply fluid for your windshield wipers, and then right to left on the knob for control of that. You also have in yellow your pull to apply your system parking brakes and push to release, and in the center your Allison digital transmission pad. Let's cover some of those switches, first starting with the engine brake on and off. You have a settings on that engine brake for low, medium, or high, a future switch location. You can see the orange switch is what we refer to as protected. It is your front wheel lock. And then to the right, you'll find your off-road traction and also your mirror heat. Moving to the right, you're going to find climate control, air conditioning and heat, and also defrost. In the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find the height, 10 feet 5 inches, length, 29 feet 7.5 inches, gross vehicle weight rating, 42,000 pounds. If you make any changes to your apparatus, please update this yellow placard over the operator's left side. Let's move overhead quickly and we'll identify some of these switches here. There are several modules. Let's start on the far left with your emergency master, high beam flash, and opticom on the very top section. The next section down, 2 switches, or there's 4, but 2 switches of active, perimeter lights, and load manager. Remember, these are memory switches and can be programmed at any time. To the right, you'll find the siren brake, air horn, electronic siren, and your mechanical siren. You'll also find your front flood, driver's side scene, passenger side scene, and also your deck lights. Remember, when you push to activate, the green will indicate that it's been activated, and that'll be around the switch plate. Located in the center is your siren control and PA speaker microphone. Overhead, you're going to find a go light for the passenger and also for the driver. Congratulations, Mercer Island, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32678. If you have any questions as to the content of this video, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Thank you and congratulations.